What is up, everybody? Welcome to not really a hump day hangout. This is Saturday, but we're really squeezing it in as it is. We're trying out a new show format for the rest of the season, and gonna have some road bumps, but we're gonna power through it. What's going on, Basham?
What's happening? Saturday afternoon, not much better to do after a busy week. So we're on here to please the public and provide them with their weekly fantasy football entertainment.
All right, so we're starting off with this segment called the 2 minute drill, and the intention is to quickly recap the previous week. I'm going to put on a timer here, and I'm going to start it off this week. Next week, Badgem's going to try and one up it. I don't know how difficult that's going to be. Let me set my clock here. 2 minutes. All right, and let's get going. First up, Jay 116, Keku 97 in a matchup that would have been better off in 2009 with Peyton Manning, Adrian Peterson, D'Angelo Williams, Frank Gore, Phillip Rivers. Jay edged out the lowest score of the week. My power rankings are looking pretty good right now with Keku in 10th place, but neither of these guys can possibly be pleased with their matchup. Moving on, Polino's Hotland of Dirty Birds 150 versus Jeff's Googled team name 110. MP put up a 150 burger, but only 3 of his field players had more than 10 points. That's pretty scary for the rest of the league. Jeff, however, really missed Mike Evans, and 2 of his highest scoring players were on the bench, Ryan Fitzpatrick and Nick Foles. That's scary, but for Jeff, not the rest of the league. Moving on, Basham 136, Sterner 112. Everybody's favorite scumbag got another bottom 5 win this week. Bash's quarterbacks were anything but about that action. However, Danny Woodhead was a boss. There's a lot of trademark confidence coming out of Basham, I see, but I know deep down he's really concerned about this team. His quarterbacks only got like 3 or 4 points. On the other hand, Sterner has to be disappointed, but Matt Forte looked awesome, which is very encouraging. Moving on, Matvey 168. Holy cow, Nick Clark 139. 58 points combined from Marcus Mariota and Tyler Eifert drug an average team to the top of the standings. But Nick Clark's Falcons couldn't drag his team quite as high. This matchup's been really fun for at least 3 straight times now, and I think we need to move them back to a rivalry next season. Finally, JD 161, Billy 145 in a budding BHL battle this season. JD put Billy in his place. That's 2 minutes, but I'm going to finish. JD put Billy in his place after division picking gate at the draft. While the Farmers would have beat Jeff this week, they were no match for discount double checking Donna. JD took round 1 in what's sure to be a long battle this season.
Solid. Wow. That was really good.
Yeah, well, the rest of my preparation for the rest of the show suffered because I was trying to squeeze that in. But we'll see how you do next week.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now let's move on. I think next we're going to run into a segment that we like to call just pretty much the headlines. So if the nightly news were on each and every week, we're each going to count down the top 6 stories of the BHL Premier League. And why don't you start off with number 1 here?
My number 1 headline was a high score for Matvey at 168, led by 32 from Mariota, 27 from Hopkins, and 26 from Eifert. A strong week 1 showing out of Matvey after an offseason full of bashing and, not much confidence in him as an owner and as just a player in our league. So that was pretty good for him. Hopefully he can ride that out. However, I don't know if we're going to see many 32-point weeks out of Mariota again or 26 points from Eifert. So it could be bad for Matvey, but I don't know. That's definitely my week 1 headline, though. Good for him.
No doubt the week 1 headline. That's his first ever high score in 53 career games. He now has a top score in 1.89% of the times he's played in our league. But you know what? He's still never topped 170. He's the only person other than Jeff currently playing to never do that. And he's been playing, 4 more seasons than Jeff?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's still going to be a long road for Matvey to really earn the respect of the league, but off to a good start.
Absolutely.
My number 2 headline is Sterner lost Des Bryant. His team already didn't look quite as strong as he was hoping it was going to be, and week 1 just really knocked him down another peg. The power rankings haven't come out for this week yet, but he might suffer severely.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a big loss for him, you know. And he's got T.Y. Hilton as well, who's also dinged up. So this could be a tough week for him. We'll talk about that later on, though. But it's definitely a huge blow to him because his team is not too deep to begin with, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Go ahead with your number 3 headline of the week.
My number 3 headline is Polino's quarterbacks don't disappoint. Combined for 59 points this week. Brady with 35, Romo with 24, and what a crazy good decision. It wasn't too hard. I mean, because Romo and Brady had such good matchups, but Luck, the number 1 overall pick in our league, on the bench with 17. So Polino's quarterbacks are really going to carry him this year, and they proved it.
I agree, and I think right now he's easily set up to shatter the quarterback scoring record if he can continue to play these matchups. All right, moving on to my here's the number 4 of the week. Catco's highest scoring non-quarterback was Heath Miller, who he picked up like the day of the game. Catco is majorly screwed if he loses Phillip Rivers or Jay Cutler. He has no options behind them. The rest of his team certainly isn't going to carry him, and Rivers and Cutler are kind of scary enough to begin with. So this team is on the precipice of being potentially historically bad.
Yeah, Catco, after, coming into our league and taking it by storm, and everybody was getting all worked up over Catco, had a disappointing season last year, and this is not a good start coming into season 3. So it's starting to look like a lot of hype for Catco and not, the real deal.
All right, go ahead with number 5.
My number 5 headline is Billy with a top 5 loss to the opponent that he traded for in his division. We talked about it so much in the preseason talk show that this was going to be a big deal the whole season, and week 1 did not disappoint. It's a nice start to the season for the defending champion, 161 in week 1. And for Billy, he's just got to be heartbroken right now. I wish that he would come on and show his face to kind of stand up for his team.
All right, that's a good one. I have no further comment. I think my actions on the field did enough of the speaking for me.
Yeah, man, you're about that action.
Yeah, let's finish it off with number 6. This is actually one I just thought of. I'm going to insert right in here. How about the group me? What a rousing success this year. And Billy, you have to get on, buddy. We're having a lot of fun on the group me. You didn't even get my team name announcement that I'm sure you would have enjoyed, although he did privately text me about it. But yeah, the group me's been great. So Billy and whoever else isn't checking on a regular basis, get on that.
Yeah, group me's been a huge success. And then just one more thing that I want to point out that I had, at the bottom of my headlines. Gauntlet with 670 combined points. Cupcake Factory with 664 combined points this week. Just a little stat to throw out there.
Oh, very close. That's what I like to hear. We're going to move on to our big segment of the week, and that's one I like to call Manager Mountain. We're going to kind of design a little pyramid here, as you can see, where there's an owner on top, 2 owners, then 3, and then a bottom 4. And this is based strictly on managerial skills. Not the team they currently have, just kind of overall, both in the past and this season, who we trust most as a manager. We'll revisit this a couple times and shake it up and see where people fall. So, Bajan, why don't you lead us off here? Let's move past the top tier. It's obviously myself. Yeah. Let's move on to tier 2. Who do you got?
Tier 2. I'm gonna put myself in there, and I'm also gonna put Billy. I really like us both as owners. We've both had past success before. We've both have made trades and moves that have, vaulted us into the postseason and ultimately to championships before. So I think that I would have the most trust in myself and Billy.
Yeah, I have yourself and Polino. I know Polino's not the most active owner, but maybe that benefits him sometimes by not making poor trades. You're really a couple of losing seasons in a row really kind of hurt your case for this tier, but no one makes a really strong argument Also, Polino, it's really hard to get that no Sean Moreno for $15 pickup out of the back of my mind when he was out for the season. But you guys barely edged out Billy, and you barely edged out a couple other guys I have on the third tier. So I think we can move on. Speaking of third tier, I have Bill Cable, always pretty solid, but made a huge mistake bringing me into his division this year. That alone has to knock you down an entire tier. Number two, I usually typically love Billy's drafts, but now I found out he was letting some Chinese computer software do it for him. Everyone pretty much uses rankings anyway, so I can't knock him too much for it. But at least write them down on paper so we think that it's something else. And I don't know, Billy's just been quiet for a couple years, so I think he can definitely move up to the second tier this season, but I'm gonna have to see it first. Who else you got?
I have Polino in this tier, kind of for the reason that you said. He's just not as active, and I don't know if it's because he doesn't have interest or what. But he has been texting me back recently whenever we talk about lineups and whatnot. So he is putting some more interest in this year. And then I also have Catco and Jay in here. Even though Jay just picked up Cole Beasley for 12 fab, I'm still going to keep him here just because he has shown that he's active. He's shown an interest. And then Catco, he's on the verge of going down to tier 4 for me. That was the tough decision there.
Oh, interesting. I also have Catco, weak draft this season, but I did like the move to grab Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
And I do think he'll kind of build this team so that it's respectable by the end of the year. But one more season of not being up to snuff is really going to hurt his reputation as a manager. I also have Jay. He made a really shitty trade last year with the Tannehill RG3 thing. He always does some dumb things that make us want to laugh at him, like auctioning RG3, I believe.
Yeah.
Cole Beasley, $12. But you know what? He set the points record last year, so he can't possibly be on tier 4. No way, no how. And let's just run through the bottom tier quickly. We'll probably elaborate in a future episode of this, but we're crunched for time. So I have Jeff. He hasn't necessarily done anything bad yet. He just necessarily hasn't done anything that really jumped off the pages, making him stand out as manager. Next, I have Matt Vey. Just another guy. The draft alone, I don't think I've necessarily noticed really bad pickups, really terrible trades. He is tough to trade with, but I don't think you can hold that against him too much in the manager pyramid, manager mountain. But the draft, he never seems to set his team up perfectly for success. How about you?
Yeah, I agree there. I mean, our whole pyramid is pretty much the same, except for Billy and Polino in terms of the tiers.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, I have Matt Vey and Sterner, and then in order, Jeff and Nick Clark.
I didn't put mine in order for the record.
That would be mine in order, though. But yeah, I mean, Jeff, he just hasn't had enough time to prove himself yet. Same with Sterner, he's on that verge of tier 3, tier 4. And then Matt Vey and Nick Clark, I mean, they've been in the league for how long? 4 years now. This is their 5th year. And they haven't really done anything to, make a case that they should be anywhere near the top of this pyramid. So they're going to stay at the bottom until they prove me wrong.
Yeah, I agree. And I definitely think this pyramid, I mean, we're not saying the people at the bottom suck. We're just saying they're currently less, I don't know. They just don't stand out quite as much as quality managers. But, I mean, the people on the bottom tier in previous years would have certainly made a case for even tier 2.
Oh, yeah.
The league's gotten so much better. So
Agreed.
that was a good, quick main segment of the week. And we're going to move on to something we like to call the speed round. This is for all the things that we didn't get to mention during the top 6 headlines. So Bajam's 7th thing probably should have snuck into this. But for this one, I'm putting 3 minutes on the clock. I know that looks backwards, but anyway, we're just gonna roll and alternate items, and if we can get it done even before 3 minutes, good for us. But we're done once the bell rings, no more.
Okay.
So, all right, you ready to start us off?
Yes, sir.
Ready, set, go.
Transactions for this week: Jay's Cole Beasley for 12 fab, crazy. Are you good now?
Absolutely crazy. But I I don't. He says it's the best one of the week. I don't. Maybe it's Moncrief though. I'm confused. Next, Basham's tight end fetish might finally outweigh his fetish for bad quarterbacks. He has Witten, Delaney Walker, and Jordan Reed as of last week, and he's trying to trade. He's sending messages. Oh, you want my awesome tight ends? No one needs those fuckers. Get out of here.
JD's Bradshaw pickup. I recently dropped him, and I really, really, really wanted to hold on to him. I think he's going to be a key player for whoever picks him up. I like it.
Nice. My next item is Peyton Manning. He looked pretty good Thursday night after he started running his own offense, but he's certainly not going to be an elite quarterback for Jay. Kind of bad foresight because his only person he backed him up with is Blake Bortles. Manning looked a little rough down the stretch last season, and Jay should have known to get better backups than Andy Dalton and Bortles.
Nick Clark's Moncrief pickup for 9 fab. Just because I don't think that he needs him. He's got Martavis, Percy, V-Jax on the bench. He's got Julio, Amari, Steve Smith already starting. Not saying it's a bad pickup, but I just don't think that he needed it. Could have saved that.
Maybe he's building pieces up to make a trade like a smart manager would. Maybe he'll dig himself out from the bottom of manager mountain.
Hopefully.
All right, next, Billy Cavell, Alex Smith combined for got the same number of points as Tannehill and Big Ben combined. You can look at that on one hand as being good that Alex Smith's looking all right this season, but on the other hand, bad that Tannehill and Big Ben were so mediocre.
Jay currently has Beasley in his starting lineup over Watkins. Watkins, he drafted fairly early. He always has seemed to have this Watkins fetish, and now he's starting Beasley over him. Not sure if it's just to prove us wrong or what, but he currently has Beasley in his starting lineup. Great matchup against Philly, but I don't know if he can outscore Watkins.
Very interesting. Next, Danny Woodhead, 6 red zone carries. Melvin Gordon, 0. That has to really piss Matt Vay off, but that's why you don't draft 100 rookies to your team.
Love it. Can't trust the rookies. You just don't know the situation coming in. Billy, Charles Johnson fetish. I don't know why he was in his starting lineup last week with the likes of John Brown and Stevie Johnson on his bench that were clearly better options. And he currently has John Brown in his starting lineup. I think that he should have Decker in his starting lineup going against Indy this week.
He certainly has a lot of options. That's an interesting one, and he almost gave himself too many choices.
Yes.
All right, and that is time. I need to fix whatever the alarm is on this app.
It's like a Chinese thing.
That was pretty good. I kind of like how he handled that.
Yeah, brilliant, I like the speed round.
Brilliant show construction on my part. And by the way, give us some feedback. We're going to end here since we don't have a guest or anything by just previewing the next week's matchups. And Basham, I'm going to rely pretty heavily on you because I was busy working on the 2-minute drill.
I didn't really look at the matchups except for my 2 that you assigned to me.
Okay, we're good. So am I one of the ones you assigned to me? Me and Jay?
I have myself and you. I have JD and Jay, and I have Billy and Sterner.
Okay, man, just do your matchups.
All right, I'll do these 2. All right, JD and Jay, both 1-0 coming into this week. Currently, Jay is down 24-26. However, JD had 2 players playing. Those, however, were his defense and his kicker. So 26 points from there, pretty solid, and I would not be disappointed with that at all. Jay, 24 points, all from Peyton Manning, much better than last week. However, I think that JD is going to come out on top this week. I like both teams' quarterbacks as a whole. I think that it's a pretty even matchup all around. However, I give JD the edge in terms of wide receiver just because I love Green and Jeffrey's upside. And Allen Robinson, there's no way that he has a week like he had last week. They're going to get him involved because he is basically their only option in terms of a wide receiver down there. So I'm giving the edge to JD.
All right, thanks, buddy.
My other matchup, Billy and Sterner, both 0-1 this week. If either of them gets in an 0-2 hole in the gauntlet, that's pretty tough to come back from, I think. So currently it is 6-0 Bill, and those 6 points came from Travis Kelce on Thursday Night Football. Not the most intriguing result if I'm Billy after Kelce's huge week 1. I think that Sterner's going to come out on top. I love his quarterbacks this week. Kaepernick going against Pittsburgh, Breeze going against Tampa Bay. Forte, tough matchup against Arizona. However, he was just so good last week that there's no way that he scores less than 15 points. And his wide receiver matchups, I love how he has Torrey Smith in the starting lineup against Pittsburgh. He's always torn up Pittsburgh, and I think that he gets a few deep shots and scores. So I do like Josh Turner this week over Bill.
All right, man. While I'm doing these next two, how about you prepare Jeff and Matvey as well for the end?
All right.
Okay, so first let's look at Smokin' Jay Cutler versus Julio Get the Stretch. By the way, I don't understand Nick Clark's team name. If someone can please let me know the reference, I would much appreciate it. Catco put up 30 points on Thursday Night Football, but Macklin with a really disappointing 6. However, I feel pretty good getting that from two of my wide receivers. Catco and Nick Clark are also both at 0-1, which makes it really scary if someone loses this matchup. They're probably going to really fade from the league playoff picture quickly. Jamal Charles could have done a lot more for Nick Clark on Thursday night, but had those 2 costly fumbles. I think I'm still going to go with Nick Clark this week. I don't like some of the matchups that Catco's team has. However, I do like a lot of the matchups that Nick Clark has, and Julio Jones and Matt Ryan should torment the Giants' defense. Also, what's my next matchup? Jeff and Matt. No, that's what you're doing. I'm doing About That Action Boss and Hotlanta Dirty Birds. Wow, 2 just big-time teams here. I heard a rumor that Basham really fucking lowballed Polino with one of the worst trade offers I've ever heard in my entire life. I won't disclose that on air, but I just have to say, typical scumbag move. That's what you do when you have guys like Eli Manning and Joe Flacco as your QBs. Danny Woodhead's not going to do what he did last week, but I do like the matchups that Basham's players have. However, you're going against Andrew Luck, Tony Romo, perhaps even against the Eagles, but they don't have Des Bryant for Romo. I don't think Carlos Hyde is going to put up 30 points even against a bad Steelers team. So this should be interesting. If Calvin Johnson and Andre Johnson can get back on track, I think Polino takes this one. But I say the safe money's on About That Action Boss, unfortunately.
Your reference to Julio Get the Stretch, you don't know where that's from?
I mean, maybe if you tell me, I'll know.
That's from the Uptown Funk song. Whenever it says Julio Get the Stretch.
Oh yeah, I don't listen to that.
Yeah. Anyhow, my matchup, third matchup, Jeff versus Matvey. Matvey is 1-0, Jeff 0-1. Currently, it's 3-0. Matvey's up. However, those 3 points came from C.J. Anderson, his second-round pick, who has looked very, very disappointing this year. And his other 2 running backs, Trey Mason and Chris Johnson, very unintriguing. So I'm going to give the edge to Jeff here, even though this matchup as a whole it looks boring on paper. LaShawn McCoy dinged up, Mike Evans dinged up. He's got Terrence Williams starting, Jeff does. Jimmy Graham, it's just terrible. And then you look at Matvey's team, he's got Mike Wallace in his starting lineup. I don't know if DeAndre Hopkins can go out and do what he did last week, just because there's no other options in that Texans passing attack. So I think that Carolina really doubles down on him and takes him away. And then I already hit on his running back situation. His quarterbacks, you got Mariota and you got Cam Newton. Cam Newton going against that tough Houston's front 7. And then Mariota against Cleveland, that's a tough matchup for a rookie. Cleveland's D is no joke. So I'm going to give the edge to Jeff in a very low-scoring game, I'm predicting.
Wow, that would be quite the turnaround after Jeff had a poor week 1. Matvey had a great week 1, but it would definitely make the league a lot more interesting.
Absolutely.
Moving forward. And one final word of caution. Next week, we're going to eliminate someone from our playoff picture in the elimination chamber. We're going to eliminate someone every few weeks leading up to the end of the year and boldly predict who isn't going to make the playoffs. And there's a lot of good candidates to be first on the cutting board, on the chopping block.
Yeah, I like this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm already starting to think about who I'm going to eliminate, send to the chamber of death.
All right. Well, how about you also prep for the next show in time this week so we can get it done quicker?
Will do. I had a really crazy week this week. I had like a boating safety class that I had to take. If you guys look at the Observer Reporter, my picture is in there. I'm in the newspaper for things that I'm doing at Best Center Middle School. That's a little PSA. And then I had open house. I had 2 basketball games. I was just running all over the place. So I do apologize, guys, that we couldn't get in on Wednesday night.
All I have to say is be careful to get into the newspaper for things you're doing at Beth Center Middle School.
I'll make sure that I keep a can on things here.
All right, guys, I'll get the power rankings out later on today for you. Let us know how you liked the show. We're hoping to bring a guest on next week. And good luck this weekend. Enjoy the football.
Yep. Good luck, guys.